In this video, we're going to be unboxing a high-performance sprayer from Chapin Sprayers. This is the model 19099. This model in particular has an attachment for operating and regulating the pressure via a compressor. That's something that's pretty unique to the higher end spectrum of sprayers, but when you're talking about spraying things like concrete sealers, form oils, things like that, you need a consistent spray pattern, and you might be operating this thing for 10,000 square feet depending on your application. If you're a large form concrete contractor, this tool is going to come in useful for a bunch of different reasons, but let's unpack this box today so you can see what comes in the package when you buy one of these model 19099 sprayers. I'd like to say a special thank you to Chapin, a sponsor of this YouTube channel. They've sent me this product, so let's unbox it together. Let's see what's inside when you pick up one of these. Not everybody needs one of these things. This is more for people who deal with a lot of concrete. When you do, you run into problems with consistency. Consistency is the name of the game. If you have, a giant open expanse of concrete, the finish on it, the color of it, the sealer, all of it has to be consistent, because if you have a problem, let's say with banding, and that would be with your concrete sealer, you go to apply it and you got to get all of it, right? You don't want to have any unsealed concrete, but in trying to do that in these giant open expanses, you're just, running a pattern, a grid, laying down these lines, and you get some overlap. That overlap kills you because you can end up with banding. It can look funny in those areas because it might be that, you're going a quarter mile this way. By the time you get back, it's already kind of set up. You apply some more sealer on there. Now it's kind of darker where that banding was. That's a disaster. When you look at a large scale concrete job, you could ruin a large scale concrete job, or at least, let's say, cause somebody some seriously sleepless nights as a result of banding when you're applying the sealer. That's where a product like this comes in. It has a patented tip that it uses to fan the edges and make the misting lighter at the edges, such that when you get the overlap, it's equal to what you would get from just the fan spray. So it's a little bit of a more advanced product, but it's solving a very important problem if you deal with large areas of concrete placing, finishing, and sealing. Let's open the box. Let's take the box off the bench for a sec, and then we'll see what we have inside. All right. Set that there. Instruction manual, always important. I took a look. You can find this online as well, which is handy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the exact same version of that is available online on their website. Definitely heavy duty as advertised, no doubt about that. Safety labels. Unsurprisingly, there's some strongly worded safety labels because improper use of a product like this would absolutely be dangerous. So they're just advertising as much with the warning here and providing you with a toll-free number that you can call for assistance in case you're wondering how to operate this piece of machinery that you've purchased. So what is something that you would want to know about purchasing this? Well, there's a couple of different things. One, you don't have to have the extended nozzle attachment here if that doesn't serve your purpose. A lot of time, if you're doing like form oil or something like that, you're getting in between the concrete forms. There's not enough room to get in there with a big nozzle. So you do have the ability to take this off and mount it right to the end of the gun here. Useful stuff if you're doing this every day. There's a pressure relief valve built in. Thank goodness. I certainly wouldn't want a product like this to not have one of those built in. I think it's something like 50 psi is the operating range for that. This basically just holds the gun when you're not using it. And they mentioned in the manual the dripless nozzle on this is significant, because of course you can't be dealing with drips. Like, a drip is a disaster when you're dealing with epoxies and things, solvents, things like that. You can end up very easily blemishing some otherwise perfectly looking concrete. And so a dripless sprayer is a great design, and I would say of critical importance if you're trying to increase your game and make it easier to have high quality results, make it harder to introduce imperfections to this concrete that you're finishing and sealing. 3.5 gallon stainless steel tank, hand operated pump up for the pressure, but also the option here to use, just like airing up your car tires, use a compressor set to 50 psi on the regulator to charge this tank, which is definitely the preferable option. When you're sealing a driveway, no big deal. You could hand pump up this sprayer, do a great job. If you're just finishing or sealing forms or sealing concrete all day long, every day, it's a big advantage to have this option to be able to use a compressor to just provide your compressed air source. There are a couple of safety things that you need to know about: how to open the tank, how to release the pressure, things like that. I'm not going to go over that with you here. You need to read that in the instruction manual. I don't want to stand between you and safety. I'm just here to show you what comes in the box when you open it, which is to say the product is basically ready to go out of the box here. You're going to want to do some stuff, like you got to tighten on the nozzle. You got to make sure that this connection here is torqued up to, I think it's just under 40 foot-pounds of torque. You have to get a compressor, or just have Popeye arms to pump it up by hand and set your regulator to 50 psi. There's a couple of notable things about the handle here. In particular, it's got a lockout feature, and that's very useful especially when you're dealing with more caustic things like solvents and epoxies and concrete sealers, things like that. So it's great that you can manually lock it out. Dripless sprayer, flip that up, and you're ready to rock and roll. Nice and easy to work with. It's actually, you can even just use one hand to flip that up and down with, or one thumb. So the product's basically ready to use right out of the box. What can you use it for? Actually quite a lot of stuff, because the Achilles heel of a product like this is like the strength of the tank and the quality and the strength of the seals or O-rings and gaskets. And that's something that you're getting a very heavy-duty version of with a higher-end product like this. A lot of the lower-end products would have a resin tank versus the stainless steel version that you see here. And the upgraded O-rings for heavy-duty applications allow you to use more difficult-to-handle solvents, things like this. Again, refer to the instruction manual when determining what you can use in this, but curing compounds and form oils and concrete sealers, different things for use in waterproofing applications, that would be what you would use this for. As a former concrete contractor, what I would use this for is when you're sealing concrete, if you poured the concrete for all of the parking at Costco, picture that. Just think of how much concrete that would be. You get a couple of guys out there with this sealing that. It could still take a couple of days to do, and that's using the highest quality one of these on the market, which is what you see here. Oh wow, that is a heavy-duty lid on that. Well, I mean, given the application, I can't say I'm super surprised. I wouldn't want a very weak lid. I'm sure you're interested to see, so let me just show you what's going on inside there. I think you'll be able to see it. Can you see that? Like, I mean, there's not much to see. It's just an empty tank. This thing has got some weight to it. That's coming from right here. That is a heavy-duty locking mechanism there. So the lid goes on, but the little triangle guy has to line up in particular, turns about 1/8 of a turn clockwise, and that locks that part in place, and then you can start facilitating use of the handle here. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh boy, yeah. I definitely see this thing is made to hold pressure. That's actually impressively robust there. So thank you to Chapin Sprayers. Chapin, the way to spray since 1884. Sounds to me like they know a little something about making sprayers. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you appreciate hearing about the products, give me a comment. I'm sure that the manufacturer and myself, we'd love to hear that you're receiving this message and you appreciate learning a little bit more about some of the products associated to working with concrete. Sometimes it's small scale desktop stuff, sometimes it's the real deal, the big stuff for dealing with commercial grade, maybe even industrial grade concrete contracting, finishing, curing, sealing applications. Like and subscribe.